Hello everybody, I'm Kyle. This is Vintage Red Diesel. I'm hoping you're having a good day. It's a nice beautiful September day here for me. Today's program is working on a couple oil leaks on this 5488. Got two different areas that are leaking, so we're going to take care of that and hopefully cure that. So let's get started here. I'll show you what's going on. So the first area of concern is the brake valve, sitting right here, bolted right onto the firewall, kind of hidden in there. I don't know if I'm going to have to take any of that off. I know I'll have to take off that intake hose coming from the air filter to the turbo. That is for sure I'll have to get off. I'm hoping I can sneak that out, but anyway, it's leaking up on top where the spool valves go into. Everything's cleaned off already. I got it pressure washed before I started here. So I'm going to have to get that off, tear it all down, and hopefully reseal it and not find anything that's bad or scored up or anything like that in there. But we're going to find out as I take it apart. The other area of concern here are these auxiliary coupler bodies. I don't remember which one it is, if it's the top one or bottom one. I think it's the top one if I remember right, but I'll readdress that or figure it out as we get there. But anyway, what's going on is one of the lines is leaking, and it keeps leaking the oil out, and it keeps opening up or swinging the pole out for the chopper, and well, makes the chopper operator not so happy. So I gotta get that apart, put new seals in there. Hopefully it's just a bad seal and not the coupler inside, but we're going to start with the seals and try it and go from there. We already got the box of goodies from our dealer. Everything should be in there, in that bag there, so hopefully it does everything. I ain't got to wait for any other seals or O-rings or who knows and whatnot. There's always something though. That intake hose off, that seems to open things up a little bit, but may have to take this side piece off. I think that's all one in there. Well, this is going to get interesting. Anyway, let that intake hose off. Hopefully that'll help things out. I'm going to try and include you guys as much as I can in here, but I'm sure lighting is going to be a little bit difficult working under the hood, black paint and lack of room. So I'm going to try my best. Apologize ahead of time for lack of visuals until we get it out. Alright, with some tight finagling, I got it out on the bench. Now let's open it up and watch the oil run.
Most of it's apart. I gotta get that little brass looking thing out of there yet. Then I think everything will be stripped down. So I don't have a proper screwdriver to fit that, so I reverted back to making my own tools. Anyway, I just cut off the head of a 5/16 bolt and doubled up the nuts and just fit right in there and screw her out. I've made this work other times. Hopefully this will work again. Well, I got that pulled out. Looks like to be just only a flow restrictor is all that it appears to be. Absolutely nothing in that hole at all. Vast majority of it I got apart now. I do have O-rings to pull out of there yet, so I'll do that quick and then I should be able to get everything cleaned up. Nothing is looking to be in any sort of poor condition. This big plug on here is plastic. That surprised me for a tractor coming out of the early 80s. Main valve body I've got cleaned up already, so that part's ready to go together. Got the O-rings off. The only other thing is the pistons on the spool here, but I was trying with the one. I can't seem to get it to come, and to me it looks like that nut is purposely built so it's permanently on there. So I think I'm going to leave well enough alone and clean everything up and get it ready for reassembly. When I work on stuff like this, I like to lay things out nice and organized so that I make sure everything goes back into the same spot where it came out of. Like this right now, I've got that fitting and that fitting look to be fairly identical. I don't want to mix them up though either because there's a difference. You don't want to put the wrong fitting in the wrong spot. Something like this, I'm guessing, is probably a check valve type fitting. I'm not 100% sure on that, to be honest, but always make sure that stuff goes back together, back in the same spot it came out of. Usually these kits go for multiple different valves, so I don't need everything that's in here, but I will have to figure out which O-ring I need for this particular set. There we go. Main part of the valve is together. I just gotta put the clevises on the spool yet. In order to get that back cap on, I had to hold the spools up with the springs, so I put a rope in and nut in there to not have to fight the spring tension for that cap. Now I just gotta fight the spring tension to get that pin out. Now it's ready to go back on the tractor. I got them clevises are loose on the spools yet, and I got them fittings loose. Those I tightened up. The other ones are loose because I gotta caulk them for the lines yet for when they go on, and after that I could tighten up the jam nut. So let's get back to the tractor side. Well, that was a little bit of a challenge, but got it all in. Didn't realize I had to have that one line out of the way before I could put them clevis pins in, but kind of tricky getting them clevises adjusted also. I thought they were going to spin a little easier on them spools, but I've wedged that screwdriver in there, opens it up a little bit on the threads and make things work a little bit easier. But the one for the right hand brake, that one just fought me. But it is all in. Now at this point, this job should be ready to bleed the brakes, but I'll need somebody to help me with that job, so we're gonna move on to the other job on this tractor. All right, let's take a break from the brake valve job and let's work on this coupler body. It is this top one here, did confirm that. It's a fairly simple, straightforward job. Disconnect the lines, 2 bolts on that side. The whole body will come off, and then I got, is there a bolt there and a bolt there? Possibly could actually do this on the tractor, but I'm just going to take it off. I think it'll be easier in the long run. Well, it took some fiddling to get them out. I finally got it. Closest thing I could find is that one's got a crack there. I don't know if that's was actually there beforehand or if I put that there trying to get it out, because it takes a lot of... It was a struggle to get them out of there. That little groove right in there, that's where it is. Kind of deep down in there, hard to get a gasket pick in there decently at the right angle to manipulate it the way you need to, but I guess we're going to put new ones in, and I'm going to see if I can find these quad rings too, just to be on the safe side. I'm not 100% sold that this is the problem. That I'm not 100% sold that this is the source of the problem, but I guess we're going to try. Alright, that's how it looks before the rubber seals, dirt seals go in on the outside, but I'm going to wait with them until I find this quad ring and put them back in the center. Alright, I got everything back together on it. I'm at the point now where I'm ready to start it up, check, make sure there's no leaks or anything like that, and then also I will have to bleed out the brake system. Alright, I shut it off so you could hear me, but I had it running for 15 minutes and never opened up, did anything that way, so that part of the project seems to be a win. Now let's get the brakes bled. Okay, now that the brakes are now that the brakes are bled, I am going to drive a little bit, make sure they function as they're supposed to, and then I'm going to hose off the oil mess and we should be complete. Now that the brakes are now that the brakes are bled, I'm going to make sure that they function as they're supposed to, and we'll take it outside and get it cleaned off. Alright, I got it cleaned off. I don't have any more leaks. Chopper operator should be happy without the pole swinging out on its own, and it'll save money also without having to put oil in it every little while because it keeps leaking it out. So wasn't anything too big of a job this time around, but still needed to be done. With that being said, thanks for watching. See you next time.